Greetings, great beer lovers, enthusiasts, and enjoyers of great brews all over the world. Glad you're with us today. We've got a special one for you. Something I like to drink and something brewers like to make during the wintertime, mainly because it just gives you that nice warm feeling when you drink it. It's not really high in alcohol, but it's great during the wintertime. This is going to be Murphy's Irish Stout. A very popular brew, especially over there in Ireland. Well, everywhere else too, but it's a wonderful beer. We're gonna taste it. We're gonna find out what makes it tick, and we're gonna do it on. Well, folks, we are going to get into this beer. We're going to taste it. We're going to find out exactly what makes it tick. It's Irish Murphy Stout. Now, Murphy Stout is what they considered an Irish stout or an Irish dry stout. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit more information about the dry stout style in the beer specs coming up shortly, but we're going to get into this very quickly. I also did want to mention here, if you didn't see, I have my nice Edmund's Oast t-shirt that my lovely daughter gave to me for Christmas. I enjoy it very much, and as a plug for them, if you ever do get down to Charleston, South Carolina, do go by there, okay? They have a beer hall, they have a restaurant, and of course their brewery where they mass produce. If you're in the Charleston, South Carolina area, do stop by there and see them. I think you'll enjoy their beer. Now, we're going to get in today is Murphy's Irish Stout. So straight off the can here, Murphy's Irish Stout has been brewed to the same unique recipe since 1856. We pride ourselves on using only the top ingredients of pale malt, chocolate malt, roasted barley, and hops. Sounds pretty good. The chocolate malt is going to be really good in this. Murphy's offers that uniquely smooth, creamy, and wonderful, palatable, full-bodied stout flavor with roasted chocolate and coffee undertones and a biscuity, sweet malt aroma. We're going to find that out. Now, they actually have pouring instructions, hopefully. Maybe I can show you that. And hopefully you'll be able to see some of it. If you can't, I'll see if I can find that on the on a part of the can. Maybe I can take a picture of it. But it's designed to be stored at about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which to me is refrigerator temperature, maybe a little bit lower. It's 45-degree angle you start to pour it at, and you let the foam, and we're going to look at the foam here in a minute, and then you start to drink it. Now, the foam is going to be very important, okay? Because, first of all, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a little nitrogen packet in here. Now, when you pop the lid, the nitrogen packet releases, causing foam. Now, of course, this is something that you're going to find in a Guinness, perhaps a Boddington's, or perhaps even this, is that they're charged with nitrogen, mainly because they're not naturally carbonated as much. They're going to need that nitrogen. Now, what it does is it makes a very creamy and wonderful aroma and explosion of just, color. Now, what I expect out of this too is that the bubbles, that the foam is going to separate into strata. And hopefully I can show you what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up one of my little things here so that you should be able to see what those different strata of the bubbles are going to look like. Now, without delay, we are going to crack into this. This is Murphy's Irish Stout. Now remember, we do it on the 5 categories: the aroma, the appearance, the taste, the mouthfeel, and of course, the overall impression. I'm going to tell you, I've had Murphy's before. I'll save the impression. It's not going to disappoint. Anyhow, so let's go ahead and let's see if I can hear it. Now, I had to be careful. These things are charged with nitrogen. If you don't pour them quickly, it will overflow. So you need to be real careful on this. And you don't really need to shake it in. There we go. A little premature, but that's okay. Okay, so we'll pour it at a 45 like they mentioned. I'm just going to go ahead and pour it out because it's not like it's carbonated where it is going to foam up because of the carbonation inside of it. Now, hopefully you can see this. The bubbles actually are falling. They're not rising, they're falling. And that's based on the nitrogen content in them. And hopefully you can see that it broke into a little bit of a strata there. Now, sometimes I've seen some of these nitrogen beers where they'll break into almost like a deep mocha color, lighter and lighter all the way up to creamy. So it breaks into 3, maybe 4 strata there. This isn't quite doing that, but that's okay. I've actually seen this do this. So maybe the nitrogen didn't go off as well as it should have. But very, very creamy. We'll get into the appearance in just a few seconds, but I wanted to show you that, well, before the bubbles dissipate. Now, these bubbles should stay there. But anyway, aroma. Ah, lovely. It does smell malty. It's not going to be an overabundance of malt smell. It does smell chocolatey. It does smell coffee. Now, a stout is going to be that way. It's going to be chocolatey, and it's going to be coffee flavored, okay? So you're going to get those overtones. You might, and depending on the type of a stout, you might get some fruity flavors to it, usually like a berry or something, or perhaps a peach. Nothing really fancy, but you're going to get a little bit of that, and that's basically because it's an ale. Okay, stouts are on the ale spectrum, and they're going to have esters. Esters meaning the flavors of the for the yeast that have come into the beer, and the temperature that is brewed at gives it an estery flavor. So smell it again. It actually smells, to me, a lot better of the other beer from Ireland that begins with the G. I'm not going to mention it. No, it's okay. It has a little bit more of a nice, sweeter smell to it. Okay, it's a little bit maltier, sweeter smell. It's not as heavy chocolatey smell. It's not as heavy coffee smell, but it actually has that aroma of kind of a good balance of a malty. Now, we did say that it had pale malt, chocolate malt, roasted barley, right? So those right there are going to be absolutely wonderful malts to put in. And by the way, if we remember from the last episode that I had, that pale malts were coming through Europe and surpassing and supplanting the other malts that were being used in the Germany, the Austria, the Czechoslovakia, those areas right there. Especially Munich too, those pale malts were coming in, and they had to do something. They just had to do something. So they started off with the redder or the more chocolatey or the more pale malts like that. They roasted them differently. Now, let's have the appearance. As we see here, it's very, 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 very dark, okay? And it's like looking at an espresso. I mean, it's the top end of the SRM scale. I believe it's like a 40 or plus, okay? The chocolate malt, the black patent malt that's in there, I bet there's black patent malt, I mean, come on, is going to lend to that incredibly dark color. You can't see through this. If you had a flashlight, you couldn't see through it, okay? But nice, beautiful, creamy head on it. The head actually kind of stays there. I haven't experienced any Brussels lace. I haven't tipped the glass really, except now. Let's see. Okay. The bubbles are just creamy, creamy, creamy. Some of the finest bubbles I think I have ever seen in a beer. Just lovely, and just kind of makes you want to just take it like that. Like whipped cream. Lovely. Anyhow, the appearance, I mean, what can you say? It's a classic Irish stout. Okay, now we're going to do the taste. Now, it's an Irish stout. It's going to be a little on the dry side, or it's going to be dry. And you're going to have more of the coffee, more of the malt, but you're not really going to have a lot of like bursting flavor like you would with a Munich style lager or any of the other ones that we've tried, right? The Smittix, that was wonderful, right? This is going to be a little bit on the dry side. And this is also going to be a beer that you can sit and drink for a long period of time. You go to a pub, you drink a beer. You're not going to sit there and you're not going to drink a whole lot of it and get just amazingly drunk, unless you drink a whole lot of it. It doesn't disappoint. Absolutely no carbonation on this beer whatsoever. Okay. It's going to be relatively flat tasting, and that's okay. That's the style. Okay. Don't be fooled. That's the style. So whenever you do happen to drink a Murphy's, do know that it's not going to explode in your mouth with a whole bunch of carbonation. That's kind of why you have the nitrogen capsule in there, is to give it that head, to release a little bit of that aroma. And like I said, it's dry. I do get the coffee. I don't get as much chocolate as I expected, but I do get it. It's got a little bit more bitter. It's not like a Guinness in the sense that it's got just a kind of a flat attitude to it. It's got a little punch with the hops. Okay. You're going to taste the hops. The IBUs, that's the bittering units, are a little bit higher than what I expected. They're more going to be like a German lager, even though it doesn't taste like a German lager. It doesn't have that punch like it would in some of the pilsners or something like that. Not spicy, if you would, but it does have a decent amount of good taste to it. It's kind of like a medium coffee, medium chocolate, but it's exceptional. It's something that I could sit back and drink for a while. Yeah, I mean, great balance. I mean, what can you say? The malt in it, the flavors in it, everything about it does say Ireland. Okay. Now, the mouthfeel, like I said, it's dry. It's not something you're going to go to and experience like you would an IPA. Okay. It's not going to have that heavy feel. And it's actually not very heavy feeling during really any other time. It's a good winter beer because you're going to get that flavor. You're going to get that coffee. You're going to get that chocolate flavor. But it's not heavy. It doesn't weigh on you. A lot of people have a misconception. Wow, it's got to be dark. It's got to be like espresso. It's going to be really heavy. It's going to be really thick. No, not so. This is going to be a beer that has a good medium tone to it. You don't feel like you're just drinking something exceptionally thick. In contrast, Southern Tier has a stout that is almost like drinking a chocolate cake, if you would. That's almost like a dessert beer for me. Or Dragon's Milk, okay? That would be pretty heavy. I want to say it's Dew Claw. Anyway, Sweet Baby Jesus. That's a very heavy beer. And I think that's where a lot of people are getting confused with stouts versus these American styles that are that heavy. Now, so we've got the aroma, we've got the appearance, we got the taste, we got the mouthfeel. Now, how about the overall impression? Come on, please. This is coming from Ireland directly. It is a quintessential Irish dry stout. Okay. Murphy's Irish Stout. I highly recommend this. I mean, I've always loved Murphy's ever since I had the first one. Believe it or not, the first one I ever had was a little bit more in terms of the phone in the strata here. But generally speaking, Murphy's is a winner. If you find it, go out, get it, bring it. I would say drink it on a good occasion, not something like you want to drink it all the time. Okay. Anyhow, that's it for the review. And we're going to learn a little bit more about Irish Stout and Murphy's, and we're going to do it on
Irish Stout. A beloved beer style with a rich history rooted in Ireland has become synonymous with deep, robust flavors and a distinctive drinking experience. Known for its dark and opaque appearance, Irish Stout is characterized by its roasted malt profile, creating a unique blend of bitter and sweet notes. The hallmark of Irish Stout lies in its use of roasted barley, which imparts a dark color and intense flavor. This roasted malt brings forth coffee and chocolate undertones, creating a complexity that appeals to those who appreciate a bold and flavorful brew. The brewing process often involves nitrogenation, resulting in a creamy and velvety texture that distinguishes Irish Stout from other beer styles. As the craft beer movement continues to gain momentum, many breweries around the world are experimenting with their own interpretations of Irish Stout, adding innovative twists to a classic style. Whether enjoyed in its traditional form or as part of a creative craft beer offering, Irish Stout remains a timeless and cherished choice for beer enthusiasts seeking a taste of the rich brewing heritage of Ireland. Murphy's Irish Stout is a renowned and iconic stout that has carved its niche in the world of dark beers. The story of Murphy's Stout dates back to 1856, when James J. Murphy founded the brewery in Cork, Ireland. The brewery quickly gained a reputation for producing high-quality stouts, and Murphy's Irish Stout became a staple in the local pub culture. One of the defining features of Murphy's Irish Stout is its smooth and creamy texture. This is achieved through the use of nitrogen gas in the carbonation process, giving the beer a velvety mouthfeel. The nitro infusion creates a cascade of tiny bubbles when poured, resulting in a creamy head that enhances the overall drinking experience. Flavor-wise, Murphy's Irish Stout is known for its balance between roasted malt bitterness and subtle sweetness. The dark roasted barley used in the brewing process imparts a deep color and robust flavor to the beer. Notes of coffee, chocolate, and toffee are often detected, providing a complex yet approachable taste profile. The beer finishes with a dry and slightly bitter aftertaste. Murphy's Irish Stout has become a cultural symbol of Ireland. The beer is often associated with the atmosphere of Irish pubs and is enjoyed by locals and tourists alike. Today, Murphy's is owned by the Heineken International Corporation. Murphy's Irish Stout. Style: stout, Irish dry stout. Alcohol by volume: 4.0%. SRM: 40 or above. IBU: 34.
Well, that's the beer specs, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. I enjoy bringing it to you. I learn a little bit every time I do these. Thank you for being with us today. This is Murphy's Irish Stout, and you can pick it up in a lot of places. I found this one at a grocery store, believe it or not. Anyhow, remember, subscribe, right? Ring that notification bell. Get notified on the next episode that we have here. Now, the good news is I don't have any more German beers for a little bit. I do have some American beers that I'm going to review, and I think you're going to like them. I haven't tried them yet, so I'm really anticipating what they're going to taste like. Now, remember, the beer review logbook, take it with you, all right? Take it with you. Write down your beer experiences. It's pocket size. $8.99 off of Amazon. I got the link down there in the description. Take that with you. Write down your impressions of the beers that you have there and bring them back and keep a log. Now, if you're ever in the upstate of South Carolina, go ahead and get the Upstate Ale Trail. If you go to any one of the venues around the upstate area, you can take it. You can find them there. They're free. And mark down your experiences per each one of the breweries there. Now, we've added some breweries in the area recently, so they may not be on this list here. And one of these is kind of old. Actually, it's about a year or so old. But definitely pick up the latest version. Mark them down. And, if you live here, have fun. Go to all of them. I actually know someone who went to every one of them in the books. She checked them all off. Now, if you can find it, okay, still talking to them about getting this in PDF form. This is the Total Wine, Total Guide to Beer. It is one of the best books I've ever seen on beer. Very portable, very, not even pocket size, but it's small enough, right? It's very compact, very condensed, and it will give you almost every style. It does follow the Beer Judge Certification Program guidelines for the categories of the beer. Definitely see if you can find that. This one's going to be a little old, though. Now, down below again, I've got a link to the Beer Judge Certification Program beer score sheet. Now, if you're ever out and about, you can always fold this up, take it with you. Write your experiences down here. Write your review, your own review right down here. As well, here you can have the flavor descriptor, okay? Any off flavors that you encounter, at least you'll know how to kind of judge it, what it tastes like, what it felt like to you. You can listen there or find out the definitions there. So definitely see if you can print that out, take that with you. Now, again, thank you for being here today. Remember, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Make sure you're notified on the next episode that we have. We always like to have you here. Give us some thumbs up. Give us some love. This is how we grow our channels, you know. So we definitely want to make sure that you come back and see us again. Now, again, Murphy's Irish Stout. Go get you some. I found this is a grocery store. So, hey, it's all around. Definitely want to say thank you again. Prost. Chin chin. Kanpai. Salud. And of course, from America, cheers. Oh, and Irish. Sláinte. How about that? Lovely stuff. Peace, love, and beer.
And now for the pretty girl you saw in the thumbnail. Enjoy!